I don't gotta change the world, I just got to be myself. I don't count dollar signs, spread love and I share the wealth. I've been overthinking all my life. No more wasting all my precious time. I feel alive, I feel alive, feeling like I'm 10 feet tall. I feel alive, I'm feeling alive, feeling like I'm...
So we can catch up first.
Okay.
What the heck have you been doing the last 14 years?
14 years?
It's probably been like, I don't know, I was trying to think about it. Probably 2011.
No. Well, yeah, because we never had our reunion.
We never had our reunion, yeah.
Which we need to figure that out.
I know.
I don't want to give up on reuniting.
I know. The thing is because social media is so big now that people already feel like they know what somebody else is doing.
Exactly.
And or there's like, I feel like everyone already feels like they're not doing enough, even if we're doing so much.
Yeah.
You know, because we're never like grateful for like what we've done already.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's part of it too, where it's like before it was always keeping up with the Joneses, but there's no social media. So you can like pull up and be like, yeah, I got this and this. And like, you can go rent to Escort and be like, yeah, this is my wife. Like, you know, but like now it's like, no, I know who you're with. Like,
I know you.
Yeah. Or we think we know them.
And I think our class was really dope. Like we
for sure
grew up like together, like elementary. Did we?
So I went to Summerfield.
Okay, so we've known each other since elementary school.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we started playing basketball.
Yeah.
5th, 6th grade.
Yeah.
Like with Barnes, like Coach Barnes, which I see him here and there.
Dude.
Here and there. Yeah.
That's crazy. And then middle school and then high school. So it's like we all saw each other evolve. Anytime I see somebody from high school, I'm like happy.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. And the thing is too, is like it seems like everyone is doing something. You know what I'm saying? And I don't know, like that's my favorite part of social media is to see what other people are doing.
Yeah.
But it's also good too, because I feel like if you say you're going to do something, like for you, for instance, right? Like you've been chasing this journey for a long time and they always say the chase is everything, you know, and I've seen you get closer and closer and do big things. And you've obviously accomplished so much like in that time period, but anything you say you're going to do, like it's going to be found out in a couple of years.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So that's good and bad if you like, don't back up what you're going to say you're going to do. But when you actually do back it up, then people are like, oh, okay. And like
inspired.
It's motivating. You know what I'm saying? Like you motivate me seeing what you do. I love just seeing, anybody succeed, but I just feel like it's so much harder for a woman to succeed in anything that they do. So when they are like putting in that extra like work to make it happen, I'm like, I got to put in some extra work. You know what I'm saying? So
motivates you too.
No, it's, I know you're not even close to where you want to be.
Yeah.
But when did you start? When was when you started doing like performance or wanted to do something music?
Right. So I've always been musically inclined.
Yeah.
Like I wrote my first song when I was like 7.
Okay.
And my dad put me in the studio when I was like 8.
He's like, yeah, we're making this.
No, literally like on some like, well, I wouldn't say Joe Jackson, but more so like Matthew Knowles kind of vibes.
Okay.
And however, I was like an athlete too.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I made my first song when I was 8. It was called What's the Deal with Boys?
Okay.
And we put it on a CD. I used to play it at the sleepovers and shit. Like, it was cute. And then, like, whenever I would be upset, mad, go through a breakup, I would always write. So I think I'm just, like, naturally supposed to be an artist. I've always felt that within myself. But I played sports. So I, like, my adolescent, like, between middle school and high school, I was really, like, an athlete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like that was probably your identity, like in growing up.
Yeah.
It's just like, Layla, like she balls. You know?
I got like most athletic in high school and shit. It was pretty cool. Got records at East Bay still. My brother just graduated.
That's crazy.
All-time leading assistant still on the.
That's nice. That's nice. Yeah.
So,
hard.
Shout out to the younger me. But, and it did, and little did I know, like sports kind of prepared me for what was to come as far as like music. So I played basketball. I broke my pinky like my senior year playing flag football.
I broke my pinky like 5 months ago.
It's
so
like it's oh god, the only bone I've ever broken.
It sucks too.
Yeah, it's so inconvenient.
Yeah.
And so my senior year, I couldn't play AAU to get scouted.
Gotcha.
So then I did prep, which was like where like athletes go that are still being scouted, and we still play like college teams. We went to Oak Hill, played in Oak Hill. I was playing with girls from Africa. Like it was really, really dope. And then at that point, like I was just like, do I want to play basketball? Like, I don't feel like this is like my identity anymore. Like, this is not what I want to do.
Yeah.
You know, so a couple of my friends wanted to start like an all-female promo group, you know, and I knew I wanted to start music. So I'm like, I don't know shit about the music industry. Yeah. The stuff I used to listen to was stuff I grew up on. I didn't even know how to like search for new music back then, you know. And so I did like promo. Like I did like promote for clubs. It was like an all-female group, which was really cool. And also I started a podcast too.
Yeah.
At that time too. What's funny about that? So I was working at Jerka at the time. I was like 19. And I was going to school at the time for journalism because I did want to take like the ludicrous route of like doing radio first, then integrating into the music industry. I felt like that was like a smart like tactic. So my friend Kayla LaSalle, she was like, I see this ad for this gig to audition for, to be a radio show host. You should do it. So as soon as I got off of work that night, I went to Clearwater and I interviewed for the show. And it was like this weird, like fat, like white, creepy dude. And he was like really perverted. And I'm like 19, like, yo, like what the fuck? Like, you know, but the producer at the time, he like saw like my potential and he was like, yo, fuck that. Do you want to do your own show? And I'm like, yeah. So me, Randall, Ebony, and Tim.
I remember that. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, long time ago. Those are my friends at the time that were the most controversial. That was like, you know, and we started the show called No Remorse. And it was fucking dope. And
that's kind of like a podcast before the podcast, if you think about it.
No, literally. It was like we podcasted and then we had the video where you could pull it up on the website and watch it. I don't even think it was on YouTube.
I mean, if it was, it would have wrote out back then, really being like so early out.
Oh my God, if that was then now, we would have been out of here.
But
we were super ahead of our time. It was like 2012. So it was like we were super ahead of our time. But we were like, people could call in.
Yeah, that's dope.
We were throwing events. I remember an event that we threw at the Orpheum where like we had performances and stuff. We had a shit ton of people there.
Yeah, that's fire.
And I literally like remember stopping and just like looking and being like, bitch, you created this.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to wait for an opportunity. You can create your own opportunities.
Absolutely.
And that like kind of changed the trajectory of how I approached life at that point.
Yeah.
And then
I feel like you need those like times, you know, because I feel like for sports, like a lot of things are a mean to an end, you know, but in a positive way. Like when you graduate middle school, it's not negative that you're not going back, or when you graduate high school, it's not negative, or college, right?
Yeah.
So it's like at a certain point, positive things can still have like a means to an end, you know?
Exactly.
And I think like the thing that's good about sports, like obviously they always say like the whole teamwork stuff, but I feel like a different kind of vantage point to playing sports your whole life is realizing how hard you have to work to be great at something.
Facts.
Or to win something.
Facts.
So I think like when you know what it takes to be great at one thing, you can be great at anything else you want to do.
Yeah, it's like a little formula.
Yeah.
It's like if you want to get good at basketball, you got to like practice.
Got to practice, put the time in.
Yeah.
Play as much as you can.
Look at yourself in the mirror and be like, I accept where I'm at right now and I know I could do better. I'm going to work to get better.
Absolutely.
You know, character development, teamwork, problem solving, you know. But so then after that nobody really knew I could like rap or sing. With the promo group that we had, you know, like Rolling Loud, they used to throw shows in Tampa. They used to throw shows in Tampa, Orlando, Miami, and that's kind of where they started booking artists. So the promo group that I was in at the time, we used to host, like be the girls, they like used to host.
Hey, gotta get your foot in the door,
you know.
Yeah.
And on the way to a show that we were hosting at in Miami, I was freestyling with my homeboy, Eddie Boy Wonder. I was freestyling in the car. And he was like, hold up, you can rap?
That's a little nice, yeah.
And I was like, yeah, it's my little secret superpower. Like, yeah, you know?
Yeah.
And he was like, oh no, we need to write a song and put you in the studio. And then we wrote a song called That's That Shit, and it was really cute. And that's what started. Then from there, I was like, okay.
Yeah, you want to do it.
Time to lock in. Time to do this music shit. And I put out my first EP. That's when I was OG Layla Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I've seen the. Dude. But what year was that? So that was like 2013.
2013.
Okay.
2013. OG Layla Johnson. I was like, oh, I need to figure out a name, and that's when the OG Bobby Johnson song came out.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like it's only right. That's just, you know.
That's how everyone goes. They all like you know, a lot of artists change their names a couple times.
Yeah.
Because you're finding your identity, you're finding your voice, but you don't just start with it, you know?
Yeah. I feel like my early 20s, I was like, my identity was based off of my environment and my upbringing, but I didn't know who I was. I didn't know who I was.
Right.
You know,
which is fair because people go to college and don't know what they want to major in, still get something, but they graduate with it. Like, I don't know if I want to do this, you know, like, it takes time. I feel like I feel like even me going through that same journey, I feel like I was good at anything that I tried, mainly because I like felt like I want to put my best into, or I had to be good at it.
Right.
But I feel like you can't really know what you want to do until you're like at least 21, minimally, but like upwards of 25 to 30, arguably.
Honestly, 25.
Yeah.
I remember turning 25 and feeling my brain fully developed, like, and being like, oh my God, did I just get a
start seeing things differently? And it's true though. It's true.
And people make like major life decisions like
before 25.
Like, dude, give yourself some fucking time.
The thing is like, I don't think you've experienced enough, whether it's like relationships or people you meet or situations that you find yourself in, to even have like the perspective that you need to like know what you want to do.
Exactly.
Because you don't even know what's important to you at that time, at 21. At 25, you're like, okay, like these 5 things are important to me. You know, like I always say, like, it's like your 4 buckets.
Right.
You don't know how many, you know, you don't know what the labels are on those buckets until you get to like a certain age.
And it's so sad because we've been programmed to figure out like, or we've been programmed to think that we're supposed to know everything in our 20s.
Yeah.
When our 20s is just like literally trial and error.
I feel like that's why our generation ended up being so like successful, I would say, is because I feel like our parents made us feel like we had to get good grades. We had to be successful.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I think because they were raised that way.
Yeah.
And they kind of just pass it on to us.
Yeah.
And obviously we just like carried that on our backs and into adulthood.
No, 100%. I think what's very special about our generation too is that we're like with the millennials, we remember life before phones and social media.
We're like the last one.
Yeah, we like literally, and it is different. We used to play outside. We used to form real bonds with people. Like, and we did look at life more traditionally. So we had that balance.
Yeah. Which is good. I think that's not only good for like how we grew up, but at least for our children, we'll be able to have that perspective. But then like it'll end with them. You know what I'm saying?
Because you not getting a like you're not going to be stuck to the tablet.
Yeah.
Get your ass outside.
Yeah.
Or I don't know how the environment is now, but I will go outside with you. Yeah. Or let's get a group of friends, or you're playing sports.
Absolutely.
Because there's certain things that you have to like.
That's what's good about sports is like you technically can't play sports with the phone in your hand.
Exactly.
You know, so it's like that. Like that's why sports is like timeless. But
no, 100%. Where is I? Sorry.
So the first EP in 2013, stuff was rolling.
Yeah, stuff was rolling. I was started opening up for artists at Rolling Loud, or like at the shows that they would do for Dope E&T. Yeah, Dope E&T. I opened up for like Currency, Waka Flocka, Kevin Gates. I had like little dances and shit. Like,
isn't that crazy though? Once you're able to like open up for names that you know, it's like I've always said like every time I've met somebody that's like famous, they're like a little bit less famous now because it's like humanizes them a little bit.
Exactly.
But it's also made everything seem more attainable.
Exactly.
You know, because I'm like, oh, we're the same age. You know, even when I meet like Bucks players, whatever, I'm like, oh, we're the same age. Like, we'll see in 10 years. You know, like, you know, so it's just like that competition. But
no, for sure. And then, long story short, I started being managed by. Do you know who OG Mako is?
I know the name.
Okay,
I remember this through you posting as well.
Like, bitch, you guessed it.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
So then it got to the point where, so I was performing, like I performed with XXXTentacion before he got famous. Like a lot of people that are famous, Playboy Cardi before like a lot of people that are famous as shit right now. I was like,
you were there
for the
10 years ago.
Yeah.
That's
so
crazy.
It was kind of cool, like witnessing the evolution of like hip hop in those ways. And then, so I ended up getting managed. His name is Steve-O. And he changed my life in a sense of I went from being like a local artist to an artist that was like literally around people that are already successful in my field.
Absolutely.
So I lived in Tampa at the time, and I would go to Atlanta. I would be at QC the label, and I would see like Quavo and Offset and just like and Lil Yachty before he got famous.
Yeah.
That was cool.
I remember like seeing you post about stuff like that.
Yeah. And I'd just be like there, like, whoa, okay, I'm manifesting myself to this point.
You're in that room. You're in the room.
Yeah.
That's like literally 50% of it.
Yeah. But I didn't know who I was yet.
Yeah.
And I felt like.
But when you were in those rooms, right? Like what, like was the music that got you into those rooms? Was it the promoting? Like what got you? Was it just like the connections that come by? Like what was like
right. So
at that point?
So I do think it is all about who you know. I do think me being pretty, of course.
Yeah.
But also, I feel like amongst my peers and amongst the people that manage my peers, they see that I am like, I belong in those rooms too.
Yeah, like you're trying to put in work as well.
Yeah, and like I'm an artist, like I have value, you know what I mean? But I do believe everything has divine timing, and I feel like through that process, up to getting signed eventually, I was supposed to just observe, learn. I was still learning my sound, how I wanted to project myself as like an artist. Because
but that's positive though.
Yeah, super positive. Because like I grew up on like real hip hop.
Yeah.
Like Tupac, Biggie, NWA. Like my dad was a real hip hop head.
Yeah.
So it's like I never really like Lauryn Hill, like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I kind of wanted to be in the likes of that kind of realm.
Plus it's tough too when you like have so much inspiration, but you don't want to necessarily feel like you're sounding like them or trying to sound like them.
Yeah.
I mean, comedians have the same thing. Like they always have their favorite comedian. Yeah. And then when they start doing comedy for the first couple of years, they kind of are moving like that comedian, you know, like, so it's kind of tough because you want to emulate them without emulating them.
Exactly. You know? And like music artists, I feel like there's people that get into the music industry and the music world to get the reaps of the rewards. Yeah. And there's people that are genuinely just creative, just artists that are born to do what they're doing. Because we need artists, we need doctors, we need nurses, we need, you know, but we need artists because we help the culture evolve and move forward and create different frames of thinking that nobody's ever thought before. And everybody listens to music.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like it's part of like
one of those things that's like literally anywhere around the world, you know?
Yeah, it's part of the human condition.
Yeah.
So long story short, eventually got to the point to where, you know, I moved to Atlanta. I lived in Atlanta for 2 years. Okay. I worked at Topgolf. I did so many different jobs. It's just like
that's part of it, right?
Yeah.
So like while you're grinding, you're grinding.
Yeah,
you know
grinding. Like
that's the part that like I always love when people talk about because again, like it's easy to complain once you get off your 9 to 5 or whatever you do as your full-time job, but like it's what you do after or before if you work late, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's just part of it. And
then I did go to school. I did go to HCC and I got like my associates.
Okay.
And then my dad's like, you need to get your bachelor's. And I'm like, but I already know what I want to do. And school's not going to help me do that.
No, it's smart that you stuck up for yourself.
Yeah. I need to dive into the music industry like full-fledged, you know, and I was just really hell-bent on that. So I'm like, sorry, Dad, I'm a fucking rock star. Like, you know, and he has his master's. Sorry. So like, he's really like, he feels like school is like the way.
Well, it's a big part of his, I mean, he has multiple, but like, it's a big part of his identity is his education. But again, how he grew up as a kid, that's what allowed him to separate himself from his peers, you know?
Exactly.
So it's a little different.
It was super different. And I do get his logic.
Sure. But, it's not negative, but at the same time, it may not be filling up your bucket.
Exactly.
The school's not one of your buckets or like that degree is not where you're ever going to go work and pursue.
It's like, it just didn't make any logical sense for me. Like, why not spend all my energy towards what I actually want to do?
Absolutely.
You know? And I feel like with women, we're on a biological clock.
Yeah.
Like, we have to kind of meet the level of our life, enter into our career, find out who we are.
Yeah.
And like up until the age of 35. So there's that like haunting of like, the kids. I'm like, oh my God. You know what I mean? Like,
no, it's scary.
It's super scary. Yeah. But it did allow me to have vision and structure and make sound decisions based off of where I wanted to be at in my future. Like knowing what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I feel like when you have a purpose, it really helps you navigate through life. So you're not being distracted and just like falling into anything, you know?
I agree.
So my purpose definitely has protected me through that process. But yeah, I lived in Atlanta. Amazing. Honestly, my fucking favorite place ever.
Would you live there again?
Yes, but they're just missing beaches and I need a beach.
Yeah, that's true. Landlocked.
I'm a Pisces. Like I need to be by
I'm a
water.
Cancer, so I love the water.
Oh, you're a Cancer.
Yeah.
Water gang.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
I love everything's water.
And obviously.
Water, hot tub, everything's
and then
water.
You look at where you live.
Yeah, by the water.
Hello.
Yeah.
But so Atlanta was cool. I worked at Topgolf. Like as soon as I like moved, because I got to the point where I was like, Dad, I'm moving to Atlanta. And he's like, yeah, right. He didn't think I was going to get up and move.
Yeah.
My homegirl, that's also an artist, shout out to Sherelle. She hit me and she was like, I got a room open if you want to move.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh, it's time to jump ship.
You have to.
Time to jump off the porch.
But that's why you're going to be successful though. Because I always say there's like pull trigger people and not pull trigger people.
Yeah.
Like some people, like you get the same dopamine talking about what you want to do.
Yeah.
So then tomorrow, like I just felt like I already did it. You know, I just talked about it, you know, and then other people pull the trigger and say, hey, let's just try it.
No, like, because you never know what's on the other side of being out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And she told me, can you believe this? At that time, she was like, yeah, rent's only $300.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
4-bedroom house, $1,200 a month.
Dang.
Rent was only $300.
You're like, yeah, that's crazy.
My times have changed.
Times 10 now.
I wish it was like that again. That's neither here nor there. So moved to Atlanta, and I worked at Topgolf, which is pretty cool. I was like waiting on like NFL players and celebrities,
that's cool.
like Usher one
still
time.
Still good rooms to be in.
No, definitely. And then I've always been friends with people in the music industry, and always kept tabs, always, networked.
Sure.
I feel like that's what's really helped me be successful in areas too, was my network. And I had a friend, his name was Lunch Money Lewis, and I didn't know how like successful he was in the music industry already.
Yeah.
We were just like friends.
Sure.
And every time I would go to Miami, we would kick it.
Yeah.
I knew he was a songwriter, but I didn't know that he was like top 3 songwriters in the music industry, And I would always pick his brain. Like when I lived in Tampa, I worked at Sonny's Barbecue. And I would like hit him up. I'm like, I'm going through an artist block. Like, bro, I don't know what to do. And he was like, just listen to me. He would give me like little cheat codes. So then when I moved to Atlanta, I wasn't managed by Steve-O anymore. That was a great experience. So it really helped me out. He's awesome.
Question. So when those management relationships, like, was there any contract with that? Is it like a year, or was it just like, I'm going to help you out until whatever?
He was a really good guy. He didn't put me under contract or anything. He just really wanted to help me succeed,
mentor you a little bit,
mentor me, and put me in rooms and put me in situations and just like put me in the studio. Like I would say that was definitely a form of artist development that I went in. I would record at QC the label, be around like my peers, and do shows and stuff like that. So he really like helped me become the artist that I am today. 110%.
Perfect.
And then I was performing in LA. I was performing at South by Southwest. I was performing in Atlanta. Like I really just got it in, got my 10,000 hours and I got my reps in. Yeah. So then, boom. So then Lunch Money Lewis, he was like, yo, because Naomi, my friend Naomi at the time was living with me too. And we were both pursuing our music careers. It's like been my partner in crime for like a decade. And we wanted to become a group. At that point, we were like, fuck it, let's like chase this shit together. Yeah. So he was like, come to Miami and let's record some music. Okay. And we recorded like, I think it was like 3 songs that were fire. And he was just like, I just want to sign you guys.
So what's the process of that? Did you guys already have like some ideas and like, or you just went out there and just created it on the spot? Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, just had a beat.
Yeah.
And then music, I would say, is what comes easiest to me. Yeah. Like creating music. It's just like, that
means you're meant to do it.
Yeah, it just comes. Like, and we created some dope songs and he wanted to sign us and we were like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? And that was our entrance into the real music industry. Yeah. So then we moved to LA and we worked with songwriters. We dropped videos. The label that we were signed to was a sub label to Dr. Luke's label, who Doja Cat signed to and who Kesha was signed to. So we were around him and living the just LA life. LA was crazy.
The artist lifestyle.
Dude. I was like in LA. I've literally met everybody I've wanted to meet except for Mariah Carey.
So what year was that when you were out there?
Fuck.
That was like 2017?
2016, 2017. And then we were signed to him for like 4 years. So probably from like 2017 to 2021 is when we like stopped. So yeah, through that whole time we were just like recording. Living in LA. I worked at some weed dispensaries. Yeah. Which was pretty cool.
Isn't that fire though? Like think about like the life resume that you're like you literally built. Already thus far. You know what I'm saying? It's all based on just taking a chance. But again, the chances were calculated because again, there were things that if they worked out or even if they didn't, they're still filling up your musical bucket. You know what I'm saying? Like you're still like, I don't know. That's awesome.
Like, thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then but yeah, I worked at weed dispensaries. So funny story. As soon as I got to LA, got to find a job. Yep. Hello, it's LA. Yeah. And me and Naomi lived on Melrose around a bunch of nice houses, but we were probably on the most hoodest
the nice
house on the block. Yeah. But as soon as I walked outside, I could see the Hollywood sign, so it was worth it.
You're like, we made it.
We stayed in like probably like the room was probably like this big from like the light to here.
Jeez.
Or and a little wider.
Okay.
On an air mattress with our suitcases outside of the room.
What?
Because LA was expensive at the time.
Oh my gosh.
And we were signed to a label, but he's not like a
you got
so we had to like grind it out. And we grew up like middle class.
Yeah.
But like in LA, that's when I was like, oh yeah, I'm paying my dues. Like like I didn't have my car for the first year.
It's probably good though, because that helps you grind. Even though you already went out there like ready to work, you're like, we really got to work.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Super work. I didn't have my car for the first year. Our studio was walking distance. It's probably like 2 miles away.
You're walking?
Dude, walking, scootering. That's when the like scooters.
Yeah. Birds and all that got popular.
Birds, like scootering
Studio.
there. But then like walking wasn't bad because like we like where we were walking, Paramount Studios would be right there. Like, so it was actually like a pretty dope like experience too. But the weed dispensary, so like I was with my homeboy and we went to this weed dispensary in downtown LA. Have you ever been to downtown LA?
Yep.
Isn't it like hell on earth?
Yeah, I don't get the hype behind it. Honestly,
no, there's no hype behind it.
Yeah,
LA's dope though.
I like LA. I mean, I don't know. I'm like indifferent about California. I like the vibes of LA.
Right.
I like the vibes of the West Coast, but I don't know.
Is it because we're from Florida?
Probably.
Yeah.
Like California, Florida, like that's like the rivalry.
No, it really
Even if
is.
I go out to Vegas or I go out west, like there's so many people I meet. They're like, I've never been to Florida, and I'm like, I guess you would like. Crazy. Like literally probably 90% of the people I meet out west, they've never been to Florida.
They're on the other side of the country.
Yeah, there's like no point for them to go. Because Florida's not glorified to them like how California is glorified to like us from like the movie perspective.
Exactly.
Yeah. But the weather's fire. I mean, that's why Hollywood moved out there, is because they were tired of shooting films in New York and them being rained out.
Oh, that makes sense.
So then they moved everything out to LA because they realized that it barely rained. Just they can film more movies and TV shows.
For sure.
Yeah.
And it's like hot in the day, cold at night. You get different.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
So
no, LA's beautiful. Yeah. I would live there too. Again, I thought I was going to live there for the rest of my life until COVID happened. But
yeah, COVID changed that whole place.
What?
Changed everything. But
I was in LA when COVID happened.
Jeez.
But so when I first moved to LA, I had to find a job, and I went to a weed dispensary in downtown LA. It was like owned by a bunch of Armenians. And
perfect.
I was like, you guys hiring?
Yeah.
And they're like,
yeah,
fuck it. And I came, and then I used to work from 7 to 7 and get paid under the table, get paid like $150 a day.
That's right.
Yeah. And that was a crazy experience though, because there was like a lot of girls from Armenia that were coming and like they were like sex workers like, working.
Yeah, that's a big thing.
Like, and it was kind of the environment was very toxic. So eventually I worked at a more prestige weed dispensary called The Artistry.
Okay.
It had just opened. It's like on Santa Monica Boulevard. So we opened the dispensary. It was like a boutique.
Yeah.
It was like, you know, I learned about the science behind weed and the terpenes and the cannabinoids. Like our organs are literally created to intake like.
Yeah, trust me. I've been
THC.
I don't think I missed 2 days since I've been 15. So.
Damn.
Yeah.
I know you was doing all that back then.
Oh, heck yeah.
What?
Yeah. I'll have some stories outside the podcast.
Okay. Period.
Yeah.
And then, so yeah, that was my hustle. I also, while pursuing music, worked for Amazon, like the Amazon trucks, like delivering packages.
You're hustling.
Dude, hustle's
This is good though. This is I mean, again, this is why you've been able to do what you've been able to do and why like you're not even close to where you'll take it because like you're willing to put the work in.
Yeah. And then you know, like being signed to a label, you're in competition with the people that are already like in the industry.
Sure.
And what I didn't like is that we were entering the phase of women being like overly sexualized.
Sure.
And while I do like the sexy, I like being sexy. I think I'm sexy.
Yeah.
I don't want my kids down the line to reflect back on my music and be like, mommy, or like, you know,
well, it's tough though too, because music is art.
Yeah.
And art is subjective.
It is.
You know, and that's why like when you're in Italy or Paris or something, you're at these museums and you see all this nudity, you know, some people would be like, oh my God, there's a dick, there's tits, whatever.
Yeah.
Other people are like, oh my goodness, I can see like the muscle, like they're you know, like if I go like this, that same muscle's in that thing, you know, like there's like art to it. So, you know, so people, I think girls, even guys too, right? Like guys
Right.
get sexualized
Yeah.
as well. And they're like, dude, I'm just trying to be a good actor, you know?
Yeah.
So I think it's just like going to be part of it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I see what you're saying. Like, you don't want that to be the only identity.
Yeah, because once you start off making music like that, you got to continue.
Sure.
And then also with hip hop, like, I feel like hip hop is a root of like influence in the African American community in the world.
It is. I
feel like the phenomenon of hip hop is something that is being studied, is even in colleges.
Yeah.
And is something that should be studied and should be looked at as like a culture.
Sure. I mean, it impacts everything. It impacts the crazy part is like it impacts every age. Except like, I think when you get to like maybe your 40s or 50s, it impacts you a little bit less simply because like you have so many other priorities. Like your parents are now like very old if they're still alive. Exactly. Your kids are like dealing with real stuff. Like you can't, you know, but I think like if you're in 5th grade and you see a rap song, like, oh, I want to be like that, you know?
No, literally.
And no, so, but the thing is too, like going back to like, so I feel like in hip hop, like girls are sexualized and I feel like guys are pitted against each other.
Yeah, they are.
You know, and girls are pitted against each other too from a competition standpoint.
Yeah.
But that's why I feel like this whole like rap beef stuff that's going on is so interesting. I like it from like the penmanship and the competition.
Yes, sportsmanship.
Yeah, I like both sides of it. Like I love the Kendrick Drake stuff, and I have no problem with the J. Cole thing too. Because my thing is like if he felt like that was hit, like the thing is like he was in a lose-lose situation.
Yeah,
if he kept it going, they'd be like, "You're not really like that, J. Cole." You know?
Yeah.
So like he did exactly what he says that he is.
He stayed true to himself.
Yeah. So I'm like, I can't knock that. You know, I get that. You know, it's like back in the day they didn't want like Jordan and Larry Bird to be friends. You know. And that's why I would argue even the NBA the last 20 years, I enjoy it more because KD, LeBron, like Steph, they're all boys and they still could all win individually.
Yeah.
You know, but back in the day, like it was like, oh, you have to hate each other.
Yeah.
You know, but now Jordan and Bird, they're all best friends. You know, It's like, so is it real, fake back then? Like, which was it? You know? But
I feel like once you let like outside sources really manipulate you and like
you're not you anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So but I do like the competition, obviously.
So wait, did you listen to did you like tap into what happened yesterday?
Not fully, no.
Dude.
Tell me what happened. Yeah, let me hear the spark notes.
Top in the morning, Kendrick dropped a diss track.
Okay. Yesterday morning.
Okay. Around fucking 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Drake dropped a diss track.
Okay.
I went out, came home at like 3 a.m.
Another one.
Kendrick dropped another diss track. Like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, what is going on? And all three of the songs are hard.
Yeah, that's fire. That's why we like it though, because the result is actually good music. You know,
I feel like they're making each other better.
Yeah, they are. I mean, the thing is like, I don't know. The thing that's always weird about like, I think when you keep things in perspective,
right?
Like they're rap beefing.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? But they're kind
of beefing though.
Yeah, they're not really beefing in real life because
they are.
I mean, they might be on like some pride personality stuff. But I think they both know. The thing is, like, they're both so big. They employ so many people that they understand, like, the bigger picture.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we're so, like, not on that level yet.
Yeah.
Per se.
No, yeah. There's behind the scenes.
That's why it's so tough. That's why even with, like, the Meek Mill stuff back in the day and stuff, it's like, these guys are making so much money and employing so many people that, like, they can't mess it up.
And how do you know it's not scripted?
It probably is scripted because it's working, right?
Yeah.
It's working. We're like, oh my goodness. And they're like, technically like, yeah, let's do it again.
Like, yeah. Like, you never fucking know. This is the entertainment business. They're entertained.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, who are you?
The thing is, it keeps them relevant because everyone's talking about them.
Who are you leaning towards?
Me? I mean, I don't really have a dog in the fight. I feel like I was always more of a Drake fan, but like that's only because like I'm half black and half white. He's half black, half white. So is J. Cole. You know, I grew up in certain circumstances. I grew up similar to both of them, way more than like Kendrick. You know, like I wasn't in gangs and stuff.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But I was never black enough to be here. I was never white enough to be here.
That part.
You know what I'm saying? Same. That's literally how I grew up. So even now, you know, that's what helped me become who I became is because I'm a chameleon. I can fit into any room. I can be in the church. I can be like in the hood. I can be in the business meeting, in the corporate office.
No,
that like
do it.
I know.
For a younger
The easiest way to do it, the easiest place to do it,
right,
is the beach.
And nobody's going to say no to the beach.
Nobody's going to say no to the beach. You find a date that works, and then you basically it could be very limited, like financially, and just like set up a bunch of tents out there. So you have like a decent, like set it up for like 500 people.
Yeah.
So even if 1,000 people come, you still have tents for 500.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
And maybe we can get people to like
have vendors come out, all that stuff.
Yeah. And RSVP and all right, we're going to do it. Everybody get fucking ready.
I think if you at least plan it 8 months out, it's like a wedding.
Yeah.
That's plenty of time. Okay. And then people come or they don't come, and you just make it on a weekend.
Yeah.
The best time to probably do it, which would be crazy, would be the Wednesday before Thanksgiving.
Because everybody's going to be in town.
Already in town. That's like the number one night to go out anyways. It's never really cold here.
So, okay, we could still do the beach.
Yeah.
I want to do it. So we're going to do it.
It'll be fun.
We need to do it.
But would you be able to work the room with 1,000 people?
Hell yeah.
Because you're going to get so like caught up in a really cool conversation over here. Like,
I'm going to find the time. I'm going to have an alarm on my phone and be like, okay, next person.
Yeah. But it'll be dope though too. Because again, like if you do it at the beach, then like everyone can come. So like you'll have people from different classes come.
Yeah.
Like 2010. It doesn't really matter.
And I mean, if it's at a hotel too.
Hotel would be good. It's just like, you know, whenever you try to schedule like a big event, there's really not that many places that can like house a lot of people.
All those people.
And if they can, they tax you for it.
Well, what about an event space?
You could do that. But which one?
There's a lot of event spaces in Tampa.
For a good price? Basically, if you do the beach thing, you can set it up to where you can basically get everything planned for almost no money.
That's true.
You know what I'm saying? Because then if you have vendors come out, then people buy their own stuff.
That's true.
There's no cost of coming.
Right.
The RSVP is just a formality at that point. It's like, let us know if you're coming, but if not, like whatever.
What about PCI?
That would be lit. All right. That's what I'm saying. Schedule it out there. That would be lit.
We're going to do it.
And then people are like, I can't go to the beach.
Exactly.
Yeah. That'd be lit.
Okay.
I'm feeling alive.